What's up, guys? No one here. Bad news for Broken Arrow. They are delaying it yet again due to worry for the network infrastructure and or the servers and or whatever was involved with the servers not working correctly during the last test happening again. For those that don't know, they had an open beta back in February initially when they had released it. So many people, last time that I checked, it was hundreds of thousands of people were trying to play at the same time, and it just completely fried the servers. This game is significantly more popular than the devs and really anybody had expected. So in order to stop that from happening, they've had to delay the game once again. It's not all bad though. We did get a date for the next open beta, which isn't that far away unless they delay that again, which we'll see what happens there. But anyway, for the post that they put up today, the statement they posted is up on the screen if you want to read it, but the TLDR is the usual dev stuff for delays, wanting to make sure it's ready and all that, and it makes sense. If they need time, they should get it if they can afford it to get the best product possible. End of story. I cannot deny the gut-wrenching feeling that I feel for this, though, since we've been told that this game would release in 2023, then we were told it would release in 2024, and now we're being told it's going to release in 2025. Having been told about it in 2022 and played it for hundreds of hours already in early 2024. And that's after the games that were the two major games that were the inspiration for this game being World in Conflict and Wargame Red Dragon, or just the Wargame series in general. Now over 10 years ago for the most recent game there being Wargame Red Dragon, even further than that with World in Conflict just kind of puttering out. Sure, there's mods for both of these games, but generally speaking, when it comes to the public availability, being able to find games, being able to play in an interesting fashion, not having to crash constantly when those mods don't work, or desync issues when you try to play multiplayer with those mods, we need something new, and the companies that were behind World in Conflict and Wargame Red Dragon were failing. We know why we're all here, basically. But as a longtime fan, I have, no kidding, been waiting a decade for this game now. It's going to end up being over a decade, actually, when they end up fully releasing it. I know I'm not alone there, but for those who haven't experienced it yet, it just, again, is gut-wrenching to go month to month when there's no way to play right now, even though we did just play hundreds of hours earlier this year. Now, there's a line here mentioning the development team has been hard at work, and we can't wait to show you what is new for the game. Later on, I'll show you some posts from their Patreon for new units. I'm going to speculate it doesn't stop there. However, I'm curious what other game modes they've come up with, as well as potentially specialization we haven't seen before from any of the tests or showcases. They also say there will be weekly dev updates for the month of October, followed by the open beta on November 12th. So mark your calendars, there will be an open beta for Broken Arrow on November 12th, about 6 weeks from today. They don't say how long the open beta will go for, but the last one did go for a couple of weeks, where they were extending it based off of the testing information that they wanted to get. So maybe we can expect the same here. We'll have to wait and see. Quoted here, last but not least, they're planning to have an important reveal in December, which will be the very special announcement everybody is waiting for, apparently. Of course, that is alluding to, I mean, I say of course, but in my mind, and tell me if you guys are thinking otherwise, this is alluding to full release, but we'll see what they kick up in the open beta. If it continues to have those issues, I could totally see them delaying again. We'll have to wait and see again with that. It's pain, just pain. They've been posting somewhat weekly on the Patreon, which again, I implore you guys to join. It's only $1 a month, and you see posts that you don't see on the Discord or really anywhere else. Some of which I'll talk about now, as I just talked about not seeing it elsewhere. But because of my following, and because I do implore you guys to go check the Patreon so that you can see this much earlier. All of this stuff that you're about to see was posted weeks ago for some of this stuff, and at the very least days ago. So if you want to see it in real time, especially when they're doing these dev updates in the coming weeks, go join the Patreon. It's only $1 a month. Now this is the AIM-17B on the bottom of that Super Hornet there. That's the SM-6 that IRL they strapped to the bottom of a Super Hornet. This is now the longest range air launch weapon known to exist with beyond visual range capabilities, as well as apparently air to ground targeting. So the R-37s over on Russia's side have some very steep competition now, and the reason why I'm not saying it's been beat is because they will almost certainly scale this down. It's probably going to have a longer range than the R-37 because that's what it does in real life. But in order to be fair, maybe they scale it down to about what the R-37 is. All of these games scale down. Everybody that actually follows real world militaries know that the United States Air Force is easily the most powerful Air Force in the world. These weapons do have limits to their capabilities, but generally speaking, if you put the Russian Air Force in a game and you put the United States Air Force in the game and it wants to be realistic, the United States Air Force should stomp them every single day of the week. But there's going to be limitations in order to make it fair in a game sense when it comes to the ability to call in a certain amount of airframes, to call in a certain amount of weapons, the cost of those weapons. Anybody that's played Broken Arrow can assume that 174 Bravo is going to be very expensive. So yes, it'll be very good, but it's going to be at a cost. We'll see what that cost ends up being. This is the U.S. Marines' new amphibious combat vehicle capable of mounting heavy autocannons, ATGMs, APS, and carrying troops ashore for amphibious operations. We got the Tunguska, which we didn't get to see in the last test. We had the Pantsir, but this one is actually missing a couple of missiles. So correct me if I'm wrong here. This seems like an older Tunguska, so I don't know if it's the same missiles or the same guns and whatnot, but at the very least, maybe it'll be a bit more tankier than the Pantsirs. We'll have to wait and see. This is, I believe, the Su-35 with those presumed, at least by me, air-to-ground missiles as well as air-to-air missiles. I'm not a vehicle or weapon identification expert, as some of you may have known, where I accidentally called seed missiles Kinzhals by accident before in one of my previous videos. If you find something I miss or mistake, please let me know in the comments. We got the Su-24, which we haven't seen before. That's with seed missiles. And then we got the A-10 in all of its glory when the enemy forgets AA. The Pave Hawk for a versatile weapon carrier on, a helicopter. The MiG-29 presumably for Russian Marines, another multi-role fighter. We also have the different variations of the Patriot, each which having its unique job for their payloads, whether it be long range, anti-air, mid-range, or close range interceptions. Very powerful weapon system right there. Whatever they end up posting, I'll echo it here on the channel. But again, mark November 12th on your calendars because that will be the return. I have loads of friends looking to play, so we'll be posting gameplay as well as streaming on this channel as well as on Twitch. But that's all for now, guys. Let me know what you think of the situation. Do you think that there should be just a early access release? Let us just continuously play because the game's clearly in a playable state, or at least it was in February. We just know that, hey, sometimes the servers aren't going to quite work. On the other hand, though, they would need to pay for those servers, so there's cost involved. So it's not cut and dry. It's not an easy thing to do here, especially with that amount of people. If it actually was, several 100,000 people trying to play at once, which I believe it was, although the game was free. So if you're not making money from the dev perspective, but yet you still need to pay for those servers, that's an issue. Again, let me know what you guys think. But that's all for now, guys. Click all the buttons on the screen or come by a stream to support the channel. You can also follow me on Twitter or join our Discord where we're going to get some LFGs together for Broken Arrow and keep up with the news over there. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching and I hope you have a nice day. See you guys.